2 Timothy chapter 3. This is key to understanding what we're heading into, what we're in, and the reality of what we will experience as it relates to people around us, the government, our friends, our family, our close family, our brothers, our sisters, our parents, everybody around us. There's going to be people of all sorts here. This also know that in the last days perilous times shall come. For men shall be lovers of their own selves, covetousness, boasters, proud, blasphemers, disobedient to parents, unthankful, unholy, without natural affection, truce breakers, false accusers. They will accuse falsely. Incontinent, fierce, despisers of those that are good. They despise the good. They despise the good people. The Christians, the pastors, the peacemakers, those who are trying to share the love of God, the love of Christ, they despise those that are good. Traitors. There will be traitors in the last days. People in your own circle, in your own group that will be traitors. Heady, high-minded, lovers of pleasure more than lovers of God. They have a form of godliness, but they deny the power thereof. From such turn away, it says. I want to read from Matthew chapter 10. We are in these very last days, and I've got a story to tell. Vague, non-specific, but it relates to Matthew chapter 10, verse 21. And this is speaking of the disciples. This passage is about the disciples, the 12 disciples. Jesus gave them power to against unclean spirits, to cast them out, to heal all manner of sickness. They're doing all good things for the people. Yet the people will hate them. The cities will hate them. They will be despised. They're to go out and say the kingdom of heaven is at hand. They're to preach that. They're not to organize or schedule their journey. They're just to go out and go to cities and towns, preach the gospel. And some people will hear and some people won't, and you're to shake off your dust. It shall be more tolerable for the land of Sodom and Gomorrah in the day of judgment than for that city that rejects what the disciples are saying to them. Goes into verse 17. But I, Jesus is sending them out as sheep in the midst of wolves. There are wolves all around us looking to take us down, looking to devour us. What are we to be? We are to be wise as serpents, harmless as doves. Take that to heart as a Christian, as a church. We met with our the men of our church met last night, and it was about what I'm going to provide some generalities on a situation that has arisen. If you've been with me for a while, you knew that a couple years ago, some people barged into our church and caused a ruckus. And I said that would increase in the last days, and indeed it has. But we are to be wise as serpents. Be wise in who we're talking to. Be wise in what we're saying. And be harmless as doves. We are told we should be ware of men, because those men are going to deliver us up to the councils and to the government. Look at this. And brother shall deliver up brother to death. Now that I can take that to mean brothers in Christ even. I guess lightly said, brothers in Christ will deliver each other up to death. And father will deliver the child. The father will turn in, rat on, tattle on the child. The children will write on, title on, deliver up, rise against their parents and cause them to be put to death. There's going to be all sorts of relationships which are broken. People are going to say, I'm going to turn these people in. It says, and ye shall be hated for my name's sake, but he that endureth to the end shall be saved. This is happening now. It happened where we meet, that someone showed up for Sunday. I started asking questions about you know what, and the current situation and the rules. Asked the same questions of multiple people. And this person was a minister in another church who happened to be by, going on a hike, I guess. And this person subsequently sent an email and described to authorities what they thought we were doing wrong, if you know what I mean. So this is where the brother shall deliver up brother. I think it's coming, and it may be well-meaning. It could be that this person thought they were generally doing a good service. And maybe they were. Maybe they genuinely were. Maybe they... Well, I won't say a lot more, but regardless, I think you're going to have this infighting where your kin, your close relatives, if you say too much, they're going to be willing at some point to give you up, to give you over. Maybe not at this point, but as there are incentives for notifying authorities of various things, and I believe there will be incentives at some point. It will come down to that, where for example, if you're buying and selling, and the mark of the beast comes in, and I believe there will be incentives for people to turn you in, to say this person's doing something that the government said they're not supposed to. They're buying and selling. They haven't signed up for the mark and all these things. And there'll be a reason, and maybe there will be profit for the turning in of brothers and sisters and fathers and mothers and saints and brothers and members of organizations. There'll be profit. There'll be reasons why they will do that, whether it's because they're forced to, they feel like they're forced to, they're pressured to, or there's personal gain, or they believe they're absolutely doing something 100% correctly. But this is a very sobering moment in time, where we see that the world waxes worse and worse, looking at 2 Timothy 3. And the disciples themselves had to deal with this. Even people from within were traitors of their group and turned them in, obviously, certainly turned Jesus in. This is something you need to be prepared for. This is something that's going to happen more and more in the last days. And brother shall deliver up brother to death, and the father the child, and the children shall rise up against their parents and cause them to be put to death. You need to be careful about who you're talking to, what you're doing. We are in the very last days. Things will only get worse from here. And all I can say is watch your back and be wise as serpents, harmless as doves. Verse 16. I send you, behold, I send you forth as sheep in the midst of wolves. Therefore be wise as serpents, harmless as doves. Know who you're talking to. limit your information. Be prepared for people to turn you in. It's happening now.